Hello and welcome to New Mexico Media Makers. It's here that we focus on the people who create film, television, and new media right here in New Mexico. I'm your host, Mike Gaba, and with me as always, whether I like it or not, is my co-host, Catherine Palafas.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. Today we're excited to welcome our first guest, local director, Olga Valanos. Thanks for joining us, Olga.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Now I know that Olga Valanos is a Greek name, so I'm going to dazzle you with Kale Christougena.
Oh, Episis, you too.
I just said Merry Christmas. It's the only thing I know. It has to work year round.
Usually it's baklava.
Or moussaka.
Right.
I know that one, yes.
Yeah.
But I spent some time in Santorini, and it was only supposed to be a summer, and it turned out to be like about 9 months, and the rest of it's a blur, except for Merry Christmas. But let's talk, more importantly, about your film, Generation Red Nation.
Yes, the film it's basically a Native American film. My music producer he just passed away in July, the Grammy Award-winning musician and producer, Jim Wilson. He was Choctaw Indian, and all of the interviewees are Native American of various tribes.
And where'd you film it?
Most of it was in North and South Dakota and also the city of Denver. All of the post-production was done here in New Mexico, however, both in Albuquerque and Santa Fe.
Wow. So now, I know you told me earlier that this is your first film, and tell us an idea about what it was like. I mean, the good and the bad. For all those people that are looking and thinking, oh, making a film should be easy. I'll just do this, no problem. Tell us.
Well, I would say pick a subject matter that is almost do or die, something that really is very meaningful to you and that you won't lose interest in even during the hard times where you may have a technical glitch, hard drive might blow out, and stuff like that. So something that will sustain you and give you a sense of purpose. The other thing about independent filmmaking is that you have nothing to lose. You can take chances. Like, for instance, we have some kind of, I would say, artsy music segments, and we also chose to do the audio. I let my Grammy Award-winning audio man do his statement, and we made the audio another character, so it was almost as important as the interviews. Usually the audio is in the background. However, we brought it up to the foreground, and some of the lyrics in the audio are very relevant. So.
You made a good point. You said you have to find some sort of a passion, some sort of a drive that leads you to do this. So how did a nice Greek girl like you end up on the res? What was the passion that drove you to find? What were you searching for there?
Well, we were just discussing it earlier, and getting an MBA, I was getting sick of the 80s, I'm sorry, Donald Trump, but the Donald Trump style of mergers, acquisitions, you're fired. And I thought that we were losing the rhythm of nature and the rhythm of life, and I wanted to do a film on Aboriginal people. And then it just so happened that I met an Arapaho Cheyenne in Vail, Colorado, and then I was introduced to the Lakota and various other people of different tribes.
Wow. Yeah. So let's take a look at the film, and then we'll discuss it more a little bit.
Our people are dying while other people are getting rich.
This country is not a bad country. The one thing they will not address is us. So, I'm just sick and tired of this country ignoring us.
Welcome to America's, forced concentration camps for Indian people, and they're still living there.
To us, looks like we're in prison and we can't go out and ask for help or look for jobs. It's a struggle.
The national statistics related to Indian children basically place our people at the bottom.
Without education, a lot of families breaking apart, and a lot of kids without parents or, they turn to alcohol.
Probably got 60 to 70% alcoholism rate.
You come from the reservation to the city, it is such a culture shock. You don't know where to turn.
Do any of you work?
No.
How do you survive?
day by day.
To me, the government has a treaty with Indian tribes.
Let's use that just anger to do something creative and good for all our relatives in this world.
Spiritualness and being political, it's hand in hand and tied to the land, you know, those three, you know, everything.
This is our homeland. We're not going to be subordinated in our homeland.
Wow, Olga. You know what impressed me are the statistics. And I had mentioned earlier to you in a private conversation that the federal statistics show that violent crime on the res is 20 times what it is outside. How do they cope? I mean, how?
Well, in the film, we interviewed a lot of the elders and leaders, and basically they're the beacons, and they're the people that are strong, and they carry the traditions. And it's those traditions and teachings that will help the next generation, and we're trying to preserve it. How do they cope? Well, they're not coping very well. Some in Pine Ridge, the violence is going up, the suicide rates are going up, alcoholism hovering around, they say 60 to 70, but I've seen other statistics that say 80%. It's 9 out of 10 people are unemployed. It's almost impossible. This is the time. We need to finally bring this to the forefront, and it needs to make it on national news, national media, not an afterthought like how Russell Means' death was treated. It was just a little blurb in the national news, but this is our human tragedy that's happening within our nation's boundaries, and they will need some help from the federal government.
This is such an interesting time in our nation. We are focusing on the rights of all people, and President Obama has put that to the forefront, and I agree with you. This is the cause since America became America. We have left behind this people.
Right.
And now we have these startling statistics that your film is really helping put out there.
Right. And however, a lot of people are blurred by the stereotype of Native Americans, but these were my teachers. They have incredible world wisdom and very strong people and insight that we need. And so not just Native Americans, but non-Natives as well. So although you see the negative statistics, there's also an incredible resiliency and strength that they can bear a lot and they will survive. However, we need to bring it to the forefront again. There have been other documentary films on the subject matter, but it needs to be brought to national attention now, and something needs to be done because it's a human rights crisis, and it's really a federal disaster. So something needs to be done right away.
You know, I've always been fascinated with Native American spirituality. What was your experience with it when you went in there?
Well, I liken my experience to Carlos Castaneda's trip in the series with Don Juan. It was extremely amazing. There's doors that are opened up that just aren't aware of. It's incredible. It changed my life, and there's a lot of insight and, let's say, preservation of the earth, for instance, right now. It needs to be brought up to the consciousness of business leaders. I mean, we can't afford another massive oil spill that we don't know the amount of damage that's done to the ecosystem. So we need to bring long-term thinking into the horizon. In business school, they said, well, in the long term, we're all dead. So it's really short-term profits we should face. So I think that the philosophy of earth-based religions, we need to embrace that.
Right. Well, now, in regards to the film, where can we see it? What's happening with it? What's the progress now?
The film has won Best Documentary Feature at the Red Nation Film Festival in Beverly Hills, California, and it's in the midst of the film festival circuit. I'm trying a new approach, and on Facebook, Generation Red Nation Movie, I'd like to reach 1 million likes, and I think we can drive where it's going to be distributed rather than a few film festival panelists making that judgment for the public. So I'm taking a a people-oriented approach. If you want to see it, then vote for it. So you'll drive it, not just a few people that want to do another movie on sex, drugs, alcohol, war. I mean, your vote counts. So.
You know, one thing I've always loved about living in New Mexico is that it's so present. I mean, the different cultures here. I mean, you see the Native Americans, you see the Hispanics. What should we look for? I mean, do you think most people are aware or paying attention or thinking about it, just the general public, when they see Native Americans or Hispanics? I mean, do we really stop to think? What's your personal take on that, having been in there?
Oh, okay. Well, I've been in New Mexico for 8 years, but I lived on the East Coast, and I was truly unaware of Native America. So I think that this helps people to understand them, their lives, where they come from, what they have to overcome, their strengths, their culture. I think there's a lack of awareness.
Wow.
So.
Well, there won't be.
That's right.
Not with you here. Thanks a lot. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. And I want to thank all my post-production crew here. Lightning Wood Pictures in Santa Fe, Andrew Click Productions, Sterling Grant III, and the people at Half-Life Digital.
Great.
Excellent.
Thank you.
She covered everybody.
Yes.
Thanks for the shout out.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll be speaking with local writer and director Julie Reichert.
That's hard.